So now we're going to talk a little bit about wireframing. Now, wireframing is one of the most crucial, one of the most important parts of the web design process. And the reason why is because this is the part where you actually start planning out what your website will look like before you start dedicating hours of development work into your project. So today we're actually going to start figuring out what your website will look like. For example, where your menu will be, where your heading, text, images will be, and even what your footer will look like. So for today's tutorial, we're actually going to use wireframe.cc. Now, wireframe.cc is a free online editor that you can use anywhere where you have internet access. And it's pretty cool because all you do is actually just click and drag to create your wireframe. Now, we're going to create a really simple wireframe today. And what we're going to do is start first with the menu. So what I'm going to do is just click and drag across my screen here to create the section for my menu. And I'm going to choose box as my content type. And there we go. I have the section for my menu. Now next, in the top left corner here, I'm probably going to want a logo. So I'm going to click and drag across. And this time I'm going to choose image. And I'm going to drag it and place it up here. Now it doesn't match the height exactly. So if you see, I have these bounding box items around here that I can just click and drag to resize. Now over on the right here, I'm probably going to add some text in for my links. So for home, about, and contact. So I'm going to click and drag across, and I'll choose text, and I'll type home, about, and contact. So great, it's looking pretty good. I have my menu, links over here, I have my logo on the left, and now below that I'm probably going to want a heading. So I'm going to click and drag across here, and this time choose, looks like I did that wrong. Let me click and drag across one more time, and I'll choose an image type. So I'm going to click and drag up, and now I have my heading there with my large image. Now inside of that, I'm probably going to need to put in a title. So I'm going to click and drag across, make another box, drag it up. That looks about right. And below that, I'm probably going to have to add 2 CTAs. Now CTAs, for those of you that don't know, are called call to action buttons. So these are essentially buttons that suggest the user to create an action on the screen, such as submitting a contact form and maybe even signing up for a newsletter. So what I'm going to do is create 2 small boxes for buttons. So I'm going to make my first one here. Add it maybe around there. Now I want both of these to be the same exact size, so I'm actually going to just duplicate this one. And the way that I do that is I make sure I have this button clicked on. And on my keyboard I type Command-C to copy. And then Command-V to paste. And there we go. We have 2 buttons of the same exact size, so that's pretty easy. Now these boxes are there, but I don't really know what they're for, or I may forget later on. So what I'm going to do is actually label these with text. Now some people, when it comes to wireframe, do not add in text. They know exactly what they're doing, what everything is. I personally like to label things, so that's what I'm adding in text for. So my text here is going to say headline, and I'm going to center it. There we go. And now I click away, click again so that I can drag it into place. There we go. Now next I'm going to make sure that I copy this and move it over to this section, and I'm going to call this one CTA. Now I click away so that I can resize it and make it a little smaller so it fits. And then I'm going to copy and paste it over to the second side. So again on my keyboard, Command-C and then Command-V. Perfect. Alright, so far I have here a headline, 2 CTAs, a nice background image for my header, and I have a menu with the logo and some links. So the next section I need to add in is going to start being my body. Now over here, my body looks like it's a little short, but if I hover, I can actually click and drag down to create more space. Now it's a little tricky. You have to hover just at the moment where you get your double-headed cursor, as you see here, and then you can click and drag down. All right. So in here, I'm probably going to want to add a nice big image. So I'm going to make another box. Actually, an image, I'm sorry. And then over here, add maybe a nice paragraph, which are actually pre-programmed already in here. There's a paragraph content type. So if I click paragraph, I get these block out sections that represent a paragraph. And maybe I can make this a little larger. Here we go. All right. Maybe nudge it up a little bit. Awesome. Now I'm probably going to want another section just like that right below it. So I'm actually going to copy it and paste it, drag it down. Remember, copying and pasting is Command C and Command V. And what I'm going to do is drag my image over and drag my paragraph over and just flip those a little bit. Now it looks like my paragraphs are too wide, so I'm going to make them a little shorter, right? Just clicking and dragging those boxes on the edges here. It's looking pretty good, maybe some more space between those. Now if you haven't noticed, I actually can do multiple selection clicks. The way I do that is by clicking one item, holding down my Shift key on my keyboard, and clicking the second item. And from here I can drag up and down and move and edit multiple items at the same time. So that's pretty awesome. Right, now it looks like I'm running out of space again, so I'm going to make sure I hover over the bottom of my canvas here and drag down. So far I have my menu, my heading, my body section here. All that's really left is my footer. So I'm going to click and drag across to make a box. I'll probably add in a logo again, so I'll add one more image right over here. And then maybe another section of text where I can add copyright information. Maybe even contact as well. So let's do contact and copyright so I remember what this is for. And I'll place that in here. Alright, so that's pretty much it. We have our menu, we have our headline, we have our body section and our footer, and we have planned out essentially what our simple website will look like. So now with this, I can actually start thinking about what I actually have to start developing with HTML, which is what we'll start learning how to do next week. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Continue down and let's go ahead and start into the next portion of the module.